What are the best passports in Oceania? Starting off with the first passport in this list, the first two are very obvious. They're the most popular ones among people who are looking to get dual citizenship, and they are the strongest passports in this region. The first one will be the country of Australia. The Australian passport is very strong. If you are an Australian citizen and you get an Australian passport and you want to travel the world, you're not going to find a lot of struggle getting into certain countries. Yes, you might not have access to a few countries that you might do with some other passports, but other than that, if we talk about the Western world, if you're an Australian citizen, you've got the whole Western world open to you. The same principle applies to the New Zealand passport, which would be the second country on this list, because if we compare it to the Australian passport, the New Zealand passport, okay, it's a Western passport and you've got the whole Western world open to you for you to travel to. So it doesn't really matter whether you are an Australian or a New Zealand citizen, you're going to have the whole world open to you if you want to travel across the world. But when we talk about these two passports, there is something that is monumental to note, because these two passports have some type of common travel area arrangement with each other known as the Trans-Tasman area, which means that Australians can live in New Zealand and New Zealanders can live in Australia indefinitely. This is monumental to talk about because if we talk about country access maximization, if you are a New Zealand citizen, okay, you might have the whole world open to you, the whole Western world open to you without needing a visa to go there. However, if you're a New Zealand citizen, you can't just stay in the US or the UK forever. However, with Australia, you can move there and live there indefinitely because of the Trans-Tasman area. Moving on to the next passport in this list. This passport I have talked about in a previous video a few months ago, and that will be the Palauan passport. The Palauan passport is actually extremely strong. You would not expect it for such a small country that you don't really hear about on the international scale. However, if we look at the visa requirements map for Palauan citizens, you can see that you really do have a lot of Western countries open to you. Yes, you don't have everything. You are gaining some countries that Australia and New Zealand don't have, but you are also losing some countries that Australia and New Zealand have access to. But if we compare it to the Palauan passport, you know, how many people hear of the country Palau and think it has a strong passport? You never really hear about this country. It's very similar to Brunei in that sense, where you don't really hear about the country, but the passport is amazing. And now moving on to the fourth passport in this list, that would have to be the Samoan passport. Once again, Samoa, very small chain of islands in Oceania and the Pacific Ocean, but their passport is certainly very strong. Now, yes, they don't have access to every major Western country in the world if we look at their visa requirements map. However, they do have a lot of Western countries available to them. And they also have a lot of countries that Australia and New Zealand misses out on because Palau and Samoa aren't really deemed Western countries. Maybe they're Western aligned, but they're not really a part of the Western world, and they never really have that rep of being a part of the Western world. These are very small islands in the Pacific. No one really knows about them if you're not that clued up on geography, but their passports are amazing. Let me know which passport out of these you would like to get. Let me know down in the comments below.